Hi friends, welcome back to SPK English Academy. In today's class, we will discuss the topic the Renaissance movement, the Reformation movement, the history of the Bible, Sir Thomas Wyatt, Earl of Surrey, and Thomas Sackville. So these three are the early sonneteers of Elizabethan age. And I'm preparing all the videos where the question paper setter takes the question for your next coming KSET and UGC net. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel for better videos. I think these videos will help you to prepare well for the next coming examination. And also that I cleared both KSET and UGC net in 2018 at a time. So that's why in order to help other competitors who are preparing for UGC net and KSET in English language, I am doing these videos. So you can also search my channel in on YouTube also as SPK English Academy. You can get all my videos. Mostly I prepared 35 videos about this literature and literary theory, and also I completed all the videos from Plato to E.T.S. Eliot, all that literary theory. And also I made 3 or 4 videos on new criticism, and next I'm going to make my videos on cultural studies like feminism, formalism, and historicism, like this. Keep watching on my videos, and also prepare well for the next coming examination. See, in today class we'll discuss the Reformation and the Renaissance movements. The Reformation and the Renaissance movements are very important in the history of English literature and also in the formation of English literature during the reign of Elizabethan age. So, what do you mean by Renaissance? You know that Renaissance, the true home of Renaissance is Italy. See, the Renaissance is a French word which means a rebirth, revival, or reawakening. The Renaissance was both a revival of ancient classical mythology, literature, and culture, as well as a reawakening of the human mind. After the long dark Middle Ages, to the wonder, the glory, and the beauty of the human body and the world of nature. So this is the Renaissance meaning. In the next point, it was a period of illumination in the life of humanity. Illumination, so there is a light in the life of humanity. There is a great change in the life of humanity. So it began first. Let's see, Renaissance movement began in Italy in the 14th century with Petrarch and others. So we also called that true home of Renaissance is Italy. It was greatly stimulated by the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the invention of the printing press in Germany about this time, and the great discoveries of the scientists and the navigators which followed. These are responsible for this moment, that is Renaissance. Next point is about the Renaissance is that its influence reached England as late as the last year of the 15th century and the opening years of the 16th century, and reached its full flowering in the age of Queen Elizabeth. So there is a lot of transition in the development of English literature during the reign of Queen Elizabeth. The reign of Queen Elizabeth is also called as the nest of singing birds because many sonneteers sang in her period. See that Queen Elizabeth patronized all poets, dramatists, and essayists in her reign, during her reign. So this Elizabethan is also called as the golden age in the history of English literature. See, now we go to Reformation. See, that Renaissance is relating to the literature, art, and culture, whether the Reformation movement is regarding the religion. See, What it says, Reformation is a religious movement which began in the later part of Henry VIII reign and continued through the reign of Edward IV and Mary till the accession of Queen Elizabeth. See, was not mere a movement for the church and reform like Laladi. This is you have to keep in your mind only the moment Reformation relates to religion only. It is a religious movement. The question was asked in the last previous question paper. What does the Reformation movement belong to? Religious movement, not literature. There is a great change in the churches and their functions and the relation between the king and the popes or the church chieftains. See, it was an upheaval or a great change or the great moment which shook the very foundations of English society, ended the domination of the church, destroyed the monasteries, and transformed England into a nation of free thinkers. So, before this Reformation movement, that English polity was not free. It was totally in the hand of the church. How the popes of the church guide the king would rule the kingdom, because the church dominated on the administration of England also. So this Reformation movement made a great change. There was a great transition in the history of that England. So this moment or this Reformation moment led towards the end of the domination of the church. It means this moment led towards the domination end of the domination of the church, and also it led to destroy the monasteries and transformed England into a nation of free thinkers. So before this Reformation movement, there was no free to the thinkers on any political thinkers to think themselves, because that church had a dominance on that administration of England. See, now we have to look at John Wycliffe. He was one of the most important reformer, religious reformer. He gave a lot of contribution to history of English literature, and also he translated that Bible into English. We look at what are his achievements now. See, the most important prose writer of the age of Chaucer, and he was the first Protestant and the father of English Reformation movement. So, because of his great contribution to English literature and the Reformation movement and religious reformations in England, so that's why this John Wycliffe was called as the father of English Reformation movement in England. So he was the first to translate the Bible into English. So you have to keep in your mind, dear teachers, he was the first to translate the Bible into English. See, he used the Latin version of the Bible. You have to keep this point in your mind. See, the Latin version of the Bible, guided by Nicholas of Hereford, John Furway. See, now we discuss that William Tyndale, who lived 1468 to 1536. See, he made a lot of contribution to English literature. So now look at Tyndale was the most important member of the group of scholars known as the Cambridge Reformers. There was a Cambridge Reformers group of thinkers. He was the most important figures or the member of that group. He was inspired by the example of Martin Luther King, to begin his translation of the Bible in 1522. See, William Tyndale began his translation of Bible into English in 1522. So, which version he used to translate that Bible into English? We look at that. He used the original Greek and Hebrew Bibles to translate into English. The translation was completed by his friend Miles Coverdale. So, this William Tyndale did not complete his translation of the Bible from Greek and Hebrew Bibles into English, but the remaining work was completed or completed by his friend Miles Coverdale. So he was the most important Jacobean prose writer, as he himself tells in the preface. His ambition was that even a peasant should read his Bible. So he used a very simple language, the language of the common people. So that's why all the people, even it said that a peasant or the farmer of that England also read that the Bible translated by William Chandler. His translation formed the basis of the authorized version of the Bible, which was published in 1611. So, authorized version of the Bible is very important for the exam point of view. In many previous question paper, a question was set on this point. Authorized version of the Bible was published in 1611. So, he made the translation of the New Testament of the Bible in 1525 based on the Latin Vulgate, Erasmus's Greek and Hebrew version. So he used the original Greek manuscripts. Chandler and Coverdale were collaborative translator of this 1611 authorized version of the Bible. See, the authorized version is the work of 47 scholars, presided over by Bishop Andrew and nominated by James first to do this translation. See, now we look at the Miles Coverdale. He also played very important role in translating that Bible from Greek into English. See, the first person to print an entire Bible in the English language, he produced the first complete English Bible. See, Thomas Cranmer, he published the Great Bible. It became the first English Bible authorized for public use. Here the question is set. See, who produced the first complete Bible? That is Miles Coverdale. He printed the first English Bible or the entire English Bible. So that is by Miles Coverdale. You have to keep these points in your mind. See, and the one person, Jerome's Latin Vulgate version of the Bible is declared to be the official version of the Bible and accepted by the Catholic Church. This is about the history of the Bible. So every year's question paper there is a question on Bible's history. That's Miles Coverdale's, Wycliffe and Candle. You have to remember which version they translated to English. So when that is authorized version of Bible, the question will be there in your question paper. See, now we'll go to that early Renaissance poetry of Elizabethan age. Who are the early sonneteers of Elizabethan age? How that early Renaissance began in England? So what were the reasons for that? How that Italy's Renaissance influenced on that England? Also, what were the changes in the history of English? We have to look at now. See, in the early years of the 16th century, fresh life and vigor was infused in England poetry under the inspiration of Italy. See, some curtains of the court of Henry VIII inaugurated a new era of writing short poems and songs dealing with love. See, it was through them that the Renaissance first reached English poetry. Now we look at the first sonneteer of Elizabethan is Sir Thomas Wyatt, lived between 1503 to 1542. So see, Thomas Wyatt, so young courtier of Henry VIII, visited Italy in 1527. The result of his visit was a revolution in technique. Wyatt was also deeply influenced by Petrarch, see, great sonneteer of Italy. For the vogue of Petrarch was at its height at the time. Under the Italian inspiration, White abandoned the degenerate Chaucerian convention. See, White introduced the sonnets into English. You have to remember Sir Thomas White introduced sonnets into English when he visited Italy in 1527. He also greatly influenced by Petrarch. He was one of the most important sonneteers of Italy. So he that Sir Thomas Wyatt introduced sonnets into English and English literature. The word sonnet. What is meant by sonnet? The word sonnet is derived from the Greek word sonetto, meaning is a sound. It is a short lyric of 14 lines, and the Petrarch used this form of lyric to express his love for his beloved Laura. So, see, you can remember in one of the question paper, matching of the poets and their beloveds, also asked in the previous question paper, as that Elizabeth Boyle of Spenser, like that, Dark Lady of Shakespeare, and others. You have to remember all these points. Then, White introduced the Italian terza rima, a stanza of 12 lines interlinked in various ways. The rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B, C, D, C, D, C, D. So this is the rhyme scheme of this stanza rhyma. So stanza rhyma is a stanza of 12 lines. You have to keep remember rhetoric and prosody. One question is asked, then the meters especially. He also introduced the Atwa Rhyma. Atwa means eight. It is a stanza of 8 lines with a complicated rhymes pattern. So, two great achievements of Thomas White are introduced Tarja Rhyma, a stanza of 12 lines, and also Atwa Rhyma, a stanza of 8 lines into English. See, Petrarch had divided his sonnets into two parts. The octave of 8 lines. See, octave. He divided his sonnets into two parts. That is octave. Octave means it is consisted of 8 lines, beginning 8 lines of the sonnet, and the succept of the 6 lines, remaining 6 lines of the sonnet, with a pause or a caesura after the eighth line. Now we look at another one great sonneteer of the Elizabethan age, so that is Henry Hobart, Earl of Surrey, lived between 1516 to 1547. See, Surrey was the younger contemporary and disciple of the Wyatt. He was a disciple of Wyatt, student of Wyatt. He was also a true contemporary of Thomas Wyatt. See, he translated Virgil and Horace into English. See, he translated part of the Virgil into blank verse, and this is the first use of the unrhymed, the 10 syllabled line in English poetry. See, he wrote sonnets to express his for Geraldine of Lady Elizabeth Fitzgerald. He divides his sonnets into three quatrains with a couplet at the end. See, thus he is the first to use that form of sonnet which came to be called Shakespearean from the great dramatist use of it. Now we have to look at one of the great and important humanists of the Elizabethan age. In many previous question paper, there is a question was asked on Thomas Sackville and about his work, about the other works also. He lived between 1536 and 1608. See, Thomas Sackville was a great humanist, one who gave to England her first classical tragedy. See, his great contribution to English poetry is the induction or introduction, which he wrote for the Mirror of the Magistrate. In previous set question paper, a question was asked who was the writer of Mirror of Magistrate, or it was asked in previous question paper. See, a Mirror of Magistrate is a compilation of a series of stories narrating the misfortunes of the great figures in English history. Compilation, collection of different stories in a particular book. That is compilation. See, now this is the end of today's video. I covered the history of the Bible and also about that Renaissance movement and Reformation movement and the humanist Thomas Sackville and also early sonneteers of the Elizabethan age, Thomas White and Earl of Surrey. You have to read these and these figures and about history of Bible. There is a question in every year's question paper on this topic. I think it will help you to prepare well for the next coming examination. The time is very short for our key set examination. I wish you prepare well for the examination, and also subscribe to my channel. I'm preparing a very important videos, informative videos to you. It will also help to me. It in your subscription of my channel inspires me to make some more interesting videos and informative videos in the forthcoming days. I wish you do subscribe channel. Thank you for watching my video.